Hello and welcome to another episode of Trip 101 Travel Talk Series. I'm Ananya, I'm a junior content manager with Trip 101, and today joining me is Eyaana from Bangladesh. I'm very pleased to welcome you, Eyaana. Thank you so much for taking out the time for speaking with us.
Thank you, Ananya. I'm glad to have this interview with you. I'm thankful that you have me here on your platform, and I'm excited to share about my travels with you.
So, Eyaana today is going to talk about a country tucked away in Eastern Europe, which is Bosnia and Herzegovina, a very new country. But I'm very excited to know about it from Eyaana today because I've seen some very pretty pictures on her Instagram. Eyaana, before we do that, before we talk about Bosnia, please tell me a little about yourself. What do you do, and where does travel feature in your life?
Like you already know by now, I'm Eyaana, and I'm an architect by profession. So I have an architectural firm of my own. Besides that, I'm an entrepreneur as well. I have a business where I produce like travel wares for seamen specifically, exclusively. And I travel from passion. It's not my profession yet, and I don't see myself turning into a profession. But yeah, I'm a passionate, avid traveler.
Oh,
So
that's so cool. So now, do you do most of your travel solo, or do you go with friends or partner? Or
yeah, I still like traveling solo. I love traveling solo. It gives me the flexibility of time, schedule, etc. But now that I'm married, I love traveling with my spouse as well. But of course, like I balance it out. I do both. I still don't. It's not like I'm only traveling with my spouse. I like my trips. Yeah.
yeah, but that's a powerful decision. You're not going to wait for anyone. If they
So
can and join you,
they can. Yeah. Trust me, the world is too beautiful to wait around for somebody else to take you around. You just shouldn't. You should go on a trip on your own. If
so tell me about Bosnia. What was it a part of a larger trip that you took to Europe, or was it like one of the destinations that was on your radar and you visited independently?
Not really. The funny thing is, Bosnia wasn't in my list. Like for now, it wasn't. I wasn't supposed to visit it anytime soon. So I used to live in Germany for the last 2 years, and I suddenly decided to move back to Bangladesh for good. Before returning, I thought I'd travel around a bit, and I was supposed to go to Poland and Lithuania and all those countries. But then I don't know what happened. I switched, and I planned like Bosnia and Croatia, more to the Balkans. It was the best decision because the Balkans are really beautiful. The countries are something else. The experience was something else for me. And Bosnia, especially, because I thought 2 days would be good enough. 2 to 3 days are good enough for Bosnia. But I don't think you plan for a week might not be enough as well.
Oh,
It's so beautiful and you don't have a lot to do there, but it's
hmm.
just the country is so charming and I don't think you can get enough of it. I'm so glad I went to Bosnia before I came back to Bangladesh. With the Bangladeshi passport, it's not easy to go to
Yeah.
Bosnia. So if you have like a Schengen visa or a residence permit, it's easy to cross borders and see those countries. So I'm so glad I made a good use of that while I was still there. I traveled in the first week of September, which was good because the summer holidays were ending in Europe. So there weren't a lot of people. It was not that crowded and the prices were not that high. So you could really enjoy the whole trip by yourself without a lot of people or chaos around you.
So Bosnia was a surprising discovery for you.
Absolutely. It was so surprising and shocking in a pleasant way.
I ask you now that you have to convince someone to go to Bosnia. What would you tell them about the place? What makes it special for you?
I would say the people. The country is charming, no doubt, but
Mhm.
the people there, they're so warm. I have been to a lot of countries in Europe. It's just, you can feel the warmth in the way they welcome you. I was so touched. There were so many stories. I could share some, but for example, I was strolling around my neighborhood where I was staying. So I went to a bakery in the morning and I got some rolls for myself. So the lady, the baker there, she offered me some for free just because she was like, you might like it and you look like a guest in our country. So you'll be my owner. You don't have to pay for anything. So she offered me like free bakery stuff, goods
Mm,
and all that. I was touched because nobody does that. If you've been around Europe, you'll know it's not
mm,
very common for people to be so
mm.
kind and generous.
So when you went, how long were you there? How many days did you spend?
I didn't know what to expect from Bosnia. So I planned 3 days. I stayed in Mostar, but I
Mm.
also took a day trip to Sarajevo, which I really think you shouldn't just plan a day trip to Sarajevo. You should definitely plan a proper stay because there might not be a lot of places or locations to see, but the charm of those cities you cannot get enough of it in just 1 day or two. You should long trip to Bosnia overall.
So you were 2 days in Mostar and one in Sarajevo.
Yeah, that was a day trip, sure, Mostar.
Okay. What did you do when you were in Mostar? Did you were there like attractions that you wanted to drop by, and did you just want to experience the vibe in the 2 days that you have?
I initially thought I'll just go and see the Mostar Bridge, the famous Mostar Bridge. That's the highlight. I initially thought that would be the plan, but when I started strolling around the old city, there's so much culture and history that you don't have to read. The place speaks about the history and culture itself. Around the Mostar Bridge, I didn't know that I'd stumble upon this bazaar. That's one of the oldest bazaars in Europe, actually. It's so eccentric. It's cultural. You get to see what people are like, the Bosnian people are like, and the way of life, the way of being. You can see how they exist in around those bazaars and in different times. In the morning, you get to see a different scenario. In the afternoon or in the evening, it's more lively, a different scenario altogether. Yeah. My initial plan was to see the Mostar Bridge and some museums, but I loved the area around the bridge so much and skipped the museums. I was there from morning till dusk and I still didn't want to come back to my hostel after that.
The streets themselves had that display of history.
Yeah, totally. And also the bridge actually, it looks so different in different times of the day. In the morning, again, you get a good view of it. But during sunset, oh my God, it looks so beautiful. It's amazing to be on the bridge during sunset. It was breathtaking. And then during the night, it lights up and the streets around it, it takes a different character. And you won't believe that you were here 4 or 5 hours ago in the morning and it was a whole different scenario then. So the striking difference between the timings and the character of the streets was something else.
The only other location I've heard people talk about it so emotionally and observing it from morning and different side is Mount Fuji. Strangely.
See how incredible it is because what you're talking about is a national the landscape. But this is something that's built by
Yeah.
man. It's still so incredible. There was a time right after sunset, there was still some light. We were all sitting by the lake, by the river, on the stones. We were watching the sky, the bridge, and the buildings across the bridge. So that's all we were doing. Just watching whatever was in front of our eyes. No activities, nothing. And that was so peaceful, so calming. Something built so many years ago still stands strong and attracts people from all over the world. It has a reason. There's a reason why people go there to see that.
Yeah. And what about the market you were exploring? Did you find some interesting items over there?
I absolutely did. And I had no plans of buying anything from the market because I usually think in markets like this, you have to haggle a lot and sometimes you get scammed and all. But I stumbled upon this painting shop. I paint myself it's one of my hobbies. I like to paint. So whenever I see painting stores, authentic ones, I go and take a look at the paintings and arts. So what happened was I stumbled upon this small shop. It just opened in the morning and I went inside. There was this very kind old man and so we got into a conversation and he started saying how he has been painting there for 40 years and the interesting part is that he only paints the Mostar Bridge. That's it.
Oh,
He only paints the bridge, but with different colors, different techniques, and during different times of the day or seasons of the year. So you will find a lot of variation of colors, color combinations, but the subject is always the bridge.
oh wow,
So
that's fascinating.
I got one from him. I forgot the price of it, but he gave me a really good discount. Say I was first customer, and since he got to talk to me about painting as well, about brush strokes, colors, he offered me a discount. And it's a habit for me to buy souvenirs from each country. That painting is the only souvenir I got from Mostar for myself.
Oh, wow.
It's an authentic oil painting.
It's a special gift on both that you got.
And I never do this. I usually go for fridge magnets or something, but that painting, I had my heart set on it.
What else did you do in Mostar, like the other day that you had to explore it?
Oh, yeah. Like I went around, like I said, I was strolling most of the times. And the day trip that I took to Sarajevo, it was beautiful because it's a city between two mountains. So no pictures can do justice to it. The day that I went to Sarajevo, somehow my phone wasn't charged enough. So unfortunately, I had my phone switched off. But even if I had my phone or camera gears with me, I'm sure nothing could capture the essence of it. You're walking in between two mountains and people are going by their lives. It's a small city. They're doing their stuff. And it's almost you're in a set of an anime or of a Disney movie or something. It's so beautiful in that sense. Again, I had no plans because I had planned for Bosnia in 2 days. So I didn't do my research. I just said, okay, I'll just go with the flow to myself. And I went there and I was pleasantly surprised. Talking to the people there, to the restaurateurs, to the people in the cafe and in the bazaars. That was all about my day in Sarajevo. Walking around, admiring the beauty. Yeah,
Both of the cities, Mostar and Sarajevo, were small enough to explore on foot. It was easy to go around.
definitely. If I talk about my accommodation at this point, so I took a hostel in Mostar. And it was more of an Airbnb than a hostel. I'll come to that in a bit, why it was also amazing, my stay. But the hostel that I chose was really close to everything. The old city, the bus station, probably 5 minutes, walking distance of 5 minutes. So everything was really close by. And the places that you really need to explore are all in one, like in a very close proximity for you to walk on foot, both in Mostar and Sarajevo. Unless you want to visit a specific mosque or a specific mountain or something. Other than that, everything is easily doable by foot because the transportation there, the rest of the Europe, it's unlike the rest of Europe. You don't have a good public transportation in Bosnia. You have to walk by foot or hire Ubers or taxis. Not Uber, sorry. You don't have Uber there, just taxis, which is also very cheap. But yeah, you don't need them that often. And I was expecting it to be like a bus, but not really. It wasn't like the buses that we see usually. It's like a microbus. They're local. And it's not very clear. The instructions are not very clear as to how to reach from, like, how to get on the right bus. Let's begin with that. So you have to ask around the bus station and how to go there, how to reach this place or that. So that's a little confusing. In my opinion, I wouldn't do that if I were a first timer in Bosnia. I'd probably just hire a taxi. It would cost a little bit more, but it would save you the hassle of trying to find out the right bus or transportation to reach Sarajevo. And it's also easier because it takes less time from Mostar to Sarajevo via taxi. By bus, it takes really long. And if you're especially planning a day trip, taxi is available.
That makes a lot of sense. So, while exploring the two cities, did you come across any interesting dishes or food items that you were able to try?
Yeah, coming from a South Asian background, I look for flavors wherever I travel. So I usually lean towards Indian or Bangladeshi food because it's closer to our palate. The guy who owned the hostel owner recommended some really good food places that I went and I did try. So they call this dish is called chabab. It's kebabs basically.
Oh,
So they call it kebabs and they have a very different mix of spices and everything. So it tastes like ours, but it's not exactly like ours. It has different taste in it. And yeah, I went out and I tried kebabs. I tried there were some special localities like local seafood dishes that I tried. Not, I don't know the name because I couldn't pronounce it. I just had those. And they also have really good cream rolls, like vanilla rolls that you get in every bakery. That's also really good. And I really like their Bosnian food is somewhat similar to ours. Like you get the kebabs, and the salads and all that. So it's quite similar to ours, but it tastes really different. So that's all I tried in 2 days. Yeah, I keep snacking a lot instead of one full meal. I stopped at bakery shops and all that, and I got small snacks from each bakery that I passed along the way. And yeah, I kept tasting those items.
Did you have any other experience where someone gave them to you for free or especially kind sort of owner?
Yeah, like I said, the bakery shop owner close to my hostel, she gave me food. Uh, she gave it away to me for 2 days in the morning for breakfast. I went to her shop. One day she gave me cream rolls, the other day sausage rolls. And the good thing is for me, usually when I travel, it's very hard for me to find halal food because I'm a Muslim. So the good thing is that the Bosnia is a Muslim country. So I didn't have to fight a lot to find halal food. That's why it was amazing to me because I could try everything without hesitation.
Mm. Yeah, that's great. Let's talk about the place that you were staying at, the hostel slash Airbnb.
Yeah, it's called Hostel Musala. Yeah, I went through booking.com and it had great reviews. So I booked it. And to my surprise, it really was great. The location was great, very close to everything that you need. On the day of arrival, I reached really early in the morning. The owner wasn't there, but I could still access the hostel and I was still waiting for him to come. So when he came, he showed me a room with bunk beds. So that does look like hostel, but he also had a mix of private bedrooms within the accommodation in the property. It did seem more like Airbnb at that point. When I complained about something on the bunk beds, he immediately upgraded me to the private bedroom without anything, without any hesitation. So from that, I understood that he's really specific about the hygiene and he's concerned about, he takes criticisms of his clients positively. Without a second question, he just upgraded me. When you reach the Airbnb, he will sit with you, open a map. He has a beautiful court in front of the Airbnb, in front of the property, where you can sit outside, you can drink, just chill in the property. And he'll sit with you, open the map, will show you all the great food places you can go. He will show you all the museums that you can visit, the old city, the way to the old city, everything. And even then, if you need recommendations, he's always there. You can always call him up if there is any problem. If you need anything, he's
Yeah. And you stayed in the room you were upgraded to. It
yeah,
was
with air
comfortable.
conditioning. With air conditioning, it was a beautiful surprise because it was hot during September. In Europe, it's very hard to find accommodations with air conditioning, especially if you're a budget traveler and if you're going for hostels very often, it's very hard to find air conditioning. So it was good. It was great. And air conditioning very much so. And I was so thankful to the guy for upgrading me. And I said, yeah, I'm going to talk about your property everywhere. I mean, it can be small. It can be small. You might have very few rooms, but your service is really good.
It certainly added to your experience of Bosnia for sure because of the service you got and the personalized advice so shared with you.
If a trip goes really well and if every aspect of that trip keeps getting well, so it adds to that factor that you had a really good experience in one country. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Not everything goes smoothly.
Yeah, that's so right. What would your tips be for someone who's planning to visit Bosnia, someone who wants to explore the country as well?
First of all, I would say to not be as rigid as I was because I had a very long vacation planned. So I had to move according to my schedule. But if you're planning Bosnia exclusively, take your time and be flexible with your days. And if you want to stay in Mostar for a day more, just go ahead. If you want one more day in Thailand, go ahead because there are so many beautiful places. So I would say don't be too restrictive about your schedule. And second, I would say because for female solo travelers, especially because it's a Muslim country. So just to be respectful, maybe you can take travel wares that are respectful to the country, to the people there. That would be a tip. And the third tip would be to definitely visit the Mostar Bridge during sunset. You will see the pictures, actually what I'm talking about. Do not miss that time of the day. And fourth is that there was a duo. There were two guys around the Mostar Bridge who were taking your photos for free. And if the photo would print out in a newspaper template of Bosnia, I thought it was a good idea because they were doing it as a service to their country. So whatever you can spare, you can give them. It doesn't have a fixed cost. But what you can do is you are consciously contributing to the country's tourism in that way. And you also have very nice souvenir with you on your way back. And definitely try the kebabs.
Did you struggle with language at any point? Was it easy to communicate in English through the country?
It was easy to communicate around the touristic areas. Other than that, they don't speak English. And yeah, it was hard for me to communicate at points. And especially when I was about to go to Sarajevo from Mostar, it was hard to get instructions because they didn't know what I was talking about. I couldn't explain what I was talking about. Yeah,
Hmm.
there is a barrier for sure.
So how did you overcome that? You mostly gesturing and pointing to things.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm not good with learning languages fast. I had to gesture a lot. They are really nice people, very warm, and will do anything for you to get the right direction. They will open up their phones, like Google Translate. They'll do anything. They're so nice.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah. And especially like the way that you've spoken about, like people going out of their way to sort of help you out and give free goodies. Or my last question for you is about the souvenirs, which I think you've already mentioned the painting as well as the. Did you get the newspaper sort of?
I do. I still have it. Yeah. I do.
Wow. Did you bring anything else to remember your trip by?
Not feel. Because at one point I thought no matter what I bring back, it's not going to be enough. I need to come back. I definitely need to go back. If there is one country that I want to visit before I die, it has to be Bosnia. It needs to be Bosnia. It had I don't know what, I cannot put my finger on it, but it had a great impact on me. That's how I can put it. The impact it had on me is, it's not describable. I don't think I can describe the essence completely.
I do hope your wish comes true and you visit it again. But thank you so much for sharing about your trip. And I hope the viewers will find that the information and the details that you have shared today
I
useful.
hope. I hope.
Thank, thank you for joining me today,
Thank
Yana.
you. Thank you for having me. It was really nice meeting you as well.
With that, we will sign off for today. Bye bye.
Bye.